Not much went right for the Houston Texans in 2013. Maybe 2014 will be a little bit different. For more on that, we welcome in Tanya Ganguli, who covers the team for ESPN every day of the year. Tanya, the Texans got a little bit of good news, didn't they?
They did. Arian Foster is back on Twitter, first of all, which is new for him. He's been off for about a little over a year, and he declared that his doctor has cleared him to play. So, there wasn't too much concern that would happen eventually. I mean, he had surgery back in November, so, it was kind of expected that he'd be ready, but it is good news for the Texans to actually have that set to go right now. As
you know, he's been quite vocal as he's been sitting out. What is this going to mean for the team when he returns?
Well, it will mean that they have back their starting running back, and that's important. I mean, he's an explosive player. He's someone that their offense really fueled off of. And, the big question for the Texans now is who's going to be his backup, because, of course, they made the decision to let Ben Tate go in free agency. The Cleveland Browns signed him. And so right now they have several young guys on their roster. They're probably going to draft someone, and that draft pick actually might be the backup next year.
Lastly, before I let you go, knowing his personality and knowing the personality of the new head coach, Bill O'Brien, how do you think those two will mesh?
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, Gary Kubiak was a lot more of a player's coach, I think. I think players really all the players that have played for Bill O'Brien really like him and respect him. But it's going to be kind of a different environment. He's already started kind of making sure that all his players understand that the team is much more important than them as individuals. And that will be new for some of it's not that Gary Kubiak wasn't a team first guy, but there wasn't as much of the emphasis on it and the de-emphasis on individual accomplishments. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes for this year's team.
All right, the Texans could certainly use his production in 2014. Looks as though he'll be back, and hopefully for them, it'll turn out to be much better than 2013 was. Tanya Ganguli, thanks very much for joining us here on ESPN.com.
No problem.
And for the latest Texans headlines and headlines from around the NFL, keep it right here.